Okay, with both sides in place, we're ready to move our way up to the very top. So we're going to take and spin this mock-up around a little bit. And what we've done is, again, this lower piece of roof, it's a two-piece roof, is at least 8 inches up on each side. Here we made a snip to fold the tab of roofing around, but here we had a rib, and that rib was an issue. So what we've done is we made one snip back, and we hammered this rim flat, so this rib is not in the way any longer when we go and put our pan flashing in place. So the next piece is a pan flashing or a cricket flashing, and we have it right over there, Bo, if you want to grab it. And all this piece is a flat of flashing that we've put a single bend in to match this roof pitch. So this flat of flashing is going to fit up in here like so. Now, part of this design and having a two-piece roof enables us to layer this in with the roofing. So we've actually made this panel long enough that we can put a slight bend in either end so that it runs up along the inside of this rib. So what we're going to do is make a little snip and a little bend right here. So Bo, if you want to make like a 1/2 inch snip along that edge there, right in the bend. And there's a couple ways to do this. We could use hand benders, but I prefer in a case like this a plate bender, and I'm going to grab that plate bender. So right here along this edge we need to make the fold up. We could use hand benders, but for a long bend we're going to get a crisper bend with a folding tool, and this is just a piece of steel with a slot. So I can fit this tool over my metal to about where I want it, and I'm going to make a mark on here to get a nice crisp bend. Thank you. And we're going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 1/2 to 5/8 of an inch. So I'm going to come back about 1/2 of an inch top and about 1/2 of an inch closer to the bottom here. Put this folding tool over the metal, see my mark on top and bottom, and make the bend. So that's just a way to get a nice, little bit straighter bend on our metal. So I'll repeat that here on the other side, just to fit there. It's going to be about 1/2 of an inch on the other side as well, so I'll go ahead and mark it. It's the same thing that you saw on the other side. Yep. You want to bend this out of the way for me so I can spin that tab back? Yeah. So with those two bends in place, we can take our flashing and test fit to see how it's going to fit. And that's going to fit pretty good once we take these corners off. So with that made, our next step is to trace what we're going to do with this ear, because this ear cannot stay here. So I'm going to take my pencil and make myself some reference lines. I'm going to bend this out of the way here first. So to get my reference lines, I'm going to hold this metal in place. Bo, if you want to hold this tight there. And we're just going to trace what we have going on the back side. So I've just traced the side flashing onto the front of this, and the same on the other side. So with that done, I have pencil lines here and here that show me what's going to happen. Now I definitely do not want to cut this away. This is going to be valuable flashing material to me, because when I make snips, I want to make sure that this gets bent down over top of the flashing that's here. So the trick here is anywhere you have a corner in your pencil line, you want to snip in at a 45-degree angle if possible. That leaves tabs that we can then fold down. So looking here at this flashing, I'm going to snip at a 45-degree angle straight down to that corner. And again, I have another bend or corner right here on my flash. So I can snip again at a 45-degree angle down toward that corner, like so. The last piece is here. I'll go ahead and snip down at a 45-degree angle again, down to the very tip. And this leaves me 3 tabs that I can fold to create a water seal. Now what's left here, the rest of this, is going to be in the way. So I just snip what's left totally out of the picture. And then we can repeat for the other side. .45-degree angle toward the corner on our pencil line. And again here. And again here. Now in this case, because of the rib, I'm not going to cut away the extra because we can fold that down over our flashing to make a more watertight seal. So I'm just going to come down and stop. Get this a little bit farther here. About like that should work. So at this point we're ready to test fit and make some hand bends. So we're going to lay this piece back down. And the trick here is I'm going to have Bo hold this tight, and we're going to start at the top. Actually, we're going to start at the bottom and make a few bends. So this first piece here, as you can see, is not going to bend well because of the flat here. So I need to make one snip in order to bend that piece down. So I'm going to come in with my snips. And in this case, I'm going to come something like this to give me a piece to bend. So flashing is in place. We can bend this piece down. This piece here can bend down. And this piece here can bend around. So my series of seemingly random 45-degree cuts begin to make a little bit of sense here. And the last piece we can fold down a bit like so. Now obviously we don't want to leave it looking like this, so to clean matters up, we're going to come back somewhere in the magnitude of about 1 inch and cut all of this off so it looks clean. Now here at the top we'll leave this tab because this will be capped by our cap flash. Do some hand forming to make it contour correctly. And I'm going to pull this away one more time. And there's a little corner sticking out, and a lot of this is done just by feel as you go. We don't like that corner sticking out, so we cut that corner. So once we've made our snips to clean this up, we still have a little bit more cleanup work to do. This tab right here we don't like, and we have a screw underneath it. So the easiest thing to do is to cut it far enough back that it misses the screw. So we want a little bit there to keep the water on top of the flashing below whenever possible. But something like this is fine. Now here, the vulnerable point in this whole detail is right here in the corner, and that's always a vulnerable point. So before you place the flashing in the last time, we take a heavy bead of butyl rubber caulking, place it in there, and then press this all together, and that butyl rubber caulking will seal up well. But now any water that comes down the upper roof and onto this flash gets kicked out away. Even if it goes underneath this piece of flashing, we still have the rib underneath here that keeps the water moving down and out without getting in. So this side is looking very good. We're ready to do the same thing on the other side.